Greetings and salutations. Second Star Right, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today I thought we'd talk about the potion keeps. It's not the most enthralling topic, but it's something that has to be talked about because you have to ascend your champions, right? To maximize all their gear, to unlock secondary abilities on your skills. It's just part of the game that you have to do. So each keep is assigned a certain affinity, which you loot certain potions for those affinity characters. They're open on a rotation, but you can spend 200 gems to open them for 24 hours if you were so inclined to do so, if you didn't have the patience or whatever. It's fine. Today, the Spirit Keep is open, so we'll run in that one really quick. The Arcane Keep is always open. And what it is you have your affinity potions, but you also have to combine those with an arcane potion, which I guess is it kind of like an epoxy, maybe, you know, where there's two tubes of glue, but they're not sticky by themselves, but once you mix them, it becomes some kind of super adhesive. I don't know. Or maybe it's just a spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine go down, right? Or maybe it's just another resource to monetize in a game that, you know, you can sink money into. It's probably that one, but that's okay. We'll just work with what we got here. So let's go into these keeps. We'll talk about the boss fight mechanics, and we'll go from there. Alright, so here is the Arcane Keep boss fight. You'll see the two minions there. The left minion will throw defense downs at you, which is not really a big deal. The problem is the right minion, which why the AI is focusing on the left minion, I have no idea, because the real threat comes from the right minion. And what he does is he strips your team of all of their debuffs, or all of their buffs. It can be resisted, but it can't be blocked. I tried it with Spirit Host on manual, just waited for the right moment, hit or block debuffs, and he went and removed everything anyway. It can be resisted, cannot be blocked, just so you know. And the reason that that even makes a difference is that boss's A1 is the wind slash that attacks all enemies and inflicts 75% more damage against targets that have no active buffs. So that's why it's a problem. It doesn't hit particularly hard, you know, once you have, you know, your team at 60, of course, and, you know, pretty well geared. You probably might not even notice it. But if you're just coming in, that's the mechanic you look out for. You want to have some buffs up. That's why I brought in a buff-heavy team. Apothecary, he's always speeding people up. Strengthening from Spirit Host, and of course Skull Crusher puts on a bunch of buffs too. So I try to make it so that it wasn't a worry. It's pretty buff heavy and DPS light. I only have Tyrell and Coldheart in there really laying it down. So the fight may take longer than necessary, but it's totally safe for the most part. I don't really have to worry about it. So if you need your arcane potions, go buff heavy. Don't worry as much about DPS. Just make sure that you don't get hit hard. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, his A2 is just a defense buff and an increased speed buff. That's on a 4-turn cooldown, lasts for 2 turns. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like you go into a panic when you see him do his A2. It's not a big deal. So that's the fight in a nutshell. It's super easy. Just look out for buffs, get rid of the right minion as soon as you can, and you're good to go. All right, onward and upward, folks. All right, we are coming into the Spirit Keep now, and there's just a little quality of life thing that I wanted to illustrate, and that Crimson Helm is a pain in the butt. So I like to click on that hero or enemy, even when we're on auto. Clicking on something won't mess up your autos. Like for instance, if there's a mission you have that requires you to go on auto and you want to take out a single target first, you can just click on that target and you can take them out. It'll override the AI and you can take out that particular opponent. And I do that with Crimson Helm because there's nothing I hate more than my team attacking an invulnerable target, blowing other cooldowns and like waiting 4 minutes or whatever for the buff to go away. So just click on Crimson Helm and get rid of her first, because man, she can be a hassle. And, you know, just a time sink, which who has time for that? Alright, so here we are at the boss encounter of the Spirit Keep. We have a really typical setup, you know, boss and 2 minions. In this case, the left minion will do an AoE stun that you can resist. The right minion will do an AoE accuracy down, also resistible. At issue is the boss. The boss is actually pretty strong. Her A1 scales to her hit points. Her Cleansing Spring A2 will block buffs and then remove all debuffs. And then she heals for 50% of her max hit points at the start of every turn. It's a difficult and annoying set of skills, which is why you see I have such a heal reduction heavy team. We have Cold Heart and Skull Crusher with heal reductions on A1s, and we have Ghostborn over there who has an AoE heal reduction on his A2. The problem is, and as you can see right now, we can't debuff her. She's blocking it. If we had a Mystic Hand on the team, he could steal it. And I guess there's a cool new rare that just came out. The Ogrin Jailer has a bunch of buff steals. That would be a fantastic champion to use in this dungeon as well if he gets ranked up a bit. This is level 15 after all. Now I have Zealots in here for some sustain because on auto it's so hard to get everything to work just right. They'll be blowing their cooldowns when she's invulnerable to being debuffed, and it's just a hassle. But put some sustain in there, some nice shields, some heals, and you can kind of sit back and wait for everything to finally work the way it's supposed to. Alright, and I'm just gonna probably stop recording and just come in when it ends because it can take a while. When everything works, it works really well. But what'll happen is she has a defense down right now, we have her heals down, we have her attack down, everything's coming up roses. When all that expires, if we can't get it back on, she can be healed back to full in no time. And let's see if that happens. I was hoping Tayrell would have a turn meter down skill up, but apparently he does not. Oh, there we go. She just went. She blocked the buffs. Okay, now she could potentially heal again if we don't kill her. Let's see what happens. Oh, see, look at this. This is why I kind of wander away, get a drink, put something in the microwave, maybe watch a show on TV because it's auto. You never know what's going to happen. All right, well, I won't put you guys through this torture. Let's just pause. Okay, so it only took 9 minutes, but I was safe as houses and everything was fine. The rewards were kind of a letdown this time around, but that's okay. It's not okay. They really should make it so that you can't get minor potions at stage 15 of a fight that takes 10 minutes, but I digress. That's probably an issue for another day. However, that is it in a nutshell. This is a boss fight that requires some heal reduction. If you can steal buffs, that would be ideal. And you want to sustain a little bit because the fight can get long if you're autoing. If you're doing it on manual, you can make everything work, no problem. This fight would have taken half as long, but it's possible on auto, sustain, and then just wait for things to work out eventually because they will eventually. All right, please, if you have any questions, join my Discord, leave some comments, please subscribe if you are so inclined, and throw a like my way if you are interested. All right, thank you very much, and I will talk to you guys next time.